Welcome back to Chokitable Media. A major fraud scandal has emerged at the First Bank of Nigeria, specifically at its Abiriba Branch in Abia State. A notable customer, Dr. Eke Agbai, who holds a substantial fixed deposit account there, has publicly claimed that his funds have mysteriously vanished. As a reputable financial institution, it is expected that customer funds remain secure, and if any discrepancies arise, the bank should uphold its duty of trust by safeguarding both the customer and their deposits. Any staff members found culpable, regardless of their position, should be thoroughly investigated and, if guilty, handed over to the authorities. Unfortunately, the bank has failed to take appropriate action, prompting Dr. Eke to seek legal recourse. He has filed a lawsuit against the bank for the disappearance of 550 million from his fixed deposit. "How can 550 million just disappear?" he exclaimed. "This is outrageous." Many are questioning how First Bank could allow its employees to misappropriate such a significant sum from a customer's account. The bank's leadership must be held accountable. "This is criminal," one commenter stated. Dr. Eke had good intentions when he deposited this money, hoping to support his community by keeping the bank operational in the area. Instead, he is now faced with this distressing situation. Recently, Zenith Bank was also accused of misappropriating funds from a billionaire without his consent, raising concerns about the safety of deposits. These incidents lead to a troubling question. If an ordinary person were to experience such theft, what recourse would they have? Many would lack the resources to hire a lawyer or report the crime, often being ignored by the bank, a troubling reality that has become all too common. This situation highlights the precariousness of depositors' funds in banks, leaving citizens with few alternatives for securing their money. We hope that banks and regulatory bodies will take these matters seriously and fulfill their responsibilities to protect customers. Now, let's hear what Mr. Eke and his lawyer have to say as they face the media. Arise Television also provided further insights on the topic during Orgy Ops morning show. What's trending? Let's take a look. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to stay tuned.
Retire funds, 555 million fixed deposit. Fixed deposit. There's the distinction between ordinary deposit and fixed deposit. A certificate of fixed deposit issued to me, 250 million and 300 million respectively, for over 10 years. From 2014, I left that because I did not want First Bank to be removed from my hometown. It especially came from the then group managing director, the UK, who appealed to some of us. Imagine leaving that point, but fixed. Then over time, as the Lord will have it, upon arrival into Nigeria, from the airport, I went straight to Abuja to pick some funds. 55 million in a savings account had disappeared. And that was what triggered this. They said I had just made a withdrawal at Omar Haba. I said it couldn't have been possible. They triggered an investigation, and it happened that indeed bank officials had withdrawn 55 million in 6 installments of 10 million and 5 million respectively, of which they accepted. An email was transacted. They accepted responsibility, and it took about 1 week for the funds to be returned to me. It was then I became very afraid, as anybody would. Then I wrote to say I wanted to terminate my fixed deposit, only to tell me that my money was nowhere to go. Stories. I mean, can you imagine that? And in the course of that, I've found out that First Bank has involved themselves in a lot of criminal activities of their staff. And they want to shy away responsibility, as if their staff was different from them as an institution. I couldn't have transacted with First Bank if not because of their agent. You cannot distinguish yourself from the agent. I don't want to make it look like it's the agent's responsibility, has nothing to do with them. That the agent has absconded, the agent has run away, they were investigating. I mean, can you imagine? What have I got to do with agents? I dealt with First Bank in that capacity. Can you imagine what happened? Just imagine if you have your funds, because it's easy for people to detach themselves. And this is a reputable institution. And in the course of our investigation, we discovered that this is not an isolated case. There are issues of officials of the bank, former chairman of the bank.
Well, the businessman's lawyer said trouble started in December 2023 when their client noticed that he could not gain access to his personal account through his bank app and could not reach his business development manager. He then approached the Abiriba Branch of First Bank in Abuja, where he was told that 55 million naira had been removed in 6 consecutive transactions, whereas he was in Umuahia when the unauthorized deductions were made.
His petitions and requests for investigation into that tampering of his funds, nothing was done about it. And this is a bank where he had several deposits. So he now asks for his deposits in case such fraudulent practices fixed deposits. In case such fraudulent practices had also extended to them, that he didn't want anything to do with them again, because they had not shown good faith in the management of the funds. And they refused to release the funds, telling one story and another, asking for time, saying they wanted to investigate. In the course of their investigation, they sacked about 9 of their staff. Issues began to come up. The deposit advices for the fixed deposits issued by First Bank, they said they were not, they could not trace it in their system, so he should go away. He wrote to the bank's MD, he wrote to CBN, and each of them were saying, we are investigating, we are looking into it, we are investigating. So he had to bring the matter to court. The total deposit of 550 million is not such funds that one would fold his hands and allow it to go to waste. So that is the dispute that is now before the court.
What date are you giving now?
Now the court has adjourned to 26th of March and the 2nd of April for hearing to commence.
A certificate fixed deposit issued to me, 250 million and 300 million respectively, for over 10 years. From 2014, I left that because I did not want First Bank to be removed from my hometown. Then over time, as the Lord will have it, upon arrival into Nigeria, from the airport, I went straight to Abuja to pick some funds. 55 million in a savings account had disappeared. And that was what triggered this. They said I had just made a withdrawal at Umuahia. I said it could not have been possible. They triggered an investigation, and it happened that indeed, bank officials had withdrawn 55 million in 6 installments of 10 million and 5 million respectively, of which they accepted. They accepted responsibility, and it took about 1 week for the funds to be returned to me. It was then I became very afraid, as anybody would. Then I wrote to say I wanted to terminate my fixed deposit, only to tell me that my money was nowhere to be found. Stories. I mean, can you imagine that? And in the course of that, I've found out that First Bank has involved themselves in a lot of criminal activities of their staff. And they want to shy away responsibility, as if their staff was different from them as an institution. Fixed means that the money is locked. Nobody should have access to it. And to the extent that the bank was unaware of their staff removing funds of individuals and using them for whatever purpose, that shows that there is a problem with supervision of the bank. And then to find out that it even happened at the highest level shows that something is fundamentally wrong with this bank. The bank has become a crime scene. There's need for investigation.
Thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing so you won't miss out any of our latest video.